Call Lion La, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Makakadash. Double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to you, Arkham that's pushing this truth. This is your brother Yakulam from the GMS Boston camp, and out of one right desire through the Spirit. This lesson is edifying as well as a faith builder. Salakia, coming off a very bad cold. It's been about 2 weeks now. My voice is just coming back. Like most Akim, we are in F season as far as the flu. I don't know if I can say that in the video gets strike. I don't know if there's a doesn't. But I got a couple of lessons lined up that I've been putting together. Some of them the topics might be a couple of days off, even a week off, but Adamantazah is still edifying. Now with this one, I want to go into how what started out here in Boston, Mass, as health officials, they were considering to bring back the mask for 2 weeks. Now it turned into come the children going back to school, and not just the children, but now in public places, they want to put back the mask mandate because cases are rising. On top of that, you have the new governor, the one who's currently in seat, Baker. When it was time to push the juicy juice, he wanted more data. He didn't think it was fair that families, people should tell their children, or families should take something that they wasn't sure of. But with the new governor, Mara Healy, she's the first female alphabet business. She wants a mandatory juice shots, not just for every public worker, but children as well, to go to school, aka the indoctrination facilities. So once she's in office, it won't be a decision of, as she says, it won't be a decision between a child and a parent, but between science and data. Well, if you're going to talk about the science and the data, don't forget about the data of the harm that the juicy juice done cause with children, people passing. That movie Suddenly Died is a perfect example. Those are people that are showing you the science, not just the science aspect, more so the data. They're pulling foreign bodies out of people's bloodstreams, telling you that it comes from the juicy juice. So is he going to include that data? But the book of Proverbs 14-15 tells us what? The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. So there's people, once again, if you get sick, people bypass you having a common cold or having the flu. The first thing they're going to think is you got that C. So it goes to show you, people are going to, just like when the jobs are being dangled for people in order for them to go to work or keep their job, they had to get that juicy juice. Is the same way that it's going to happen when this new governor comes in. And matter of fact, not just that, when you look at here in Massachusetts, and I just want to go over a couple of things before I get into my precepts. In 1901, you had Jacobson versus Massachusetts. And that's 197 U.S. Docket 11 was a United States Supreme Court case in which the court upheld the authority of states to enforce compulsory vaccine laws. The court's decision articulated the view that individual liberty is not absolute and is subject to the police power of the state. Jacobson has been invoked in numerous other Supreme Court cases as an example of baseline exercise of the police power. So, this new governor is coming in that same mind frame. It's not about your personal beliefs or your religious exemptions. It has to do with data. And they got all type of unrighteous decrees added into that. They got new outbreaks. They have a new anti-juice movement tied in with anti-set. And I know it sounds funny saying all these things, but those that are in the know through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai know what I'm talking about. And there's a reason that these experts and billionaires have been warning of tough times to to come. And this isn't just a Boston thing, especially over here in Babylon. This is going on in if not every state, and even those that are speaking against it now, they're just controlled opposition. So once again, to back off what I read in Proverbs 14, it says it again, Proverbs 22-3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. We see the signs. We see how the first lockdown went down, and it had to do with a scare which tricked people into, I'm not even going to say a scare, because the scripture goes into how this devil gets into things and how he does stuff. And it wouldn't be the first time that he uses chemical warfare, let's say. And it's not him, it's the Lord that's controlling him to do these things. But they want to talk about science. The same person, Dr. Fugazi, that was pushing this juice, he said that if you keep up with your body and your immune system, then you'll be okay. But once you take that thing, now your body only protects itself from set virus. So we see that these devils, we as they say, out of the horse's mouth, we see how Bill Gates, who's big with that, funds it, all of that. We see him talking about the next one. He spoke about the first one. So we can see things coming through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, and we're going to hide ourselves, meaning we're going to trust in the Lord like we did the first time. But here you have the simple, they're going to pass on and they're going to be punished. As the scripture says, a matter of fact, because when you go into Daniel 8:23, this was a prophecy that passed, but like most of the precepts and stuff like that, it applies to today. This is why this place is Babylon. It's all these other different Babylon, Sodom and Gomorrah, Egypt. They're all rolled up. They all push the same policies. They all got the same evil spirits. As the scripture says, we battle spiritual wickedness in high places. This is Daniel 8:23, because this is in a later time for their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understand the dark sentiments shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. Once again, a reminder, these devils are doing the bidding of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and the Lord's getting ready to judge this place, as he said, with plagues and pestilences. Even taking that juicy juice is a plague, because there's nothing but death inside that thing. Poison. It alternates your body. It's a slow kill. And when you go and get those boosties and you get those extra joints, you just accelerating that. Let me take a squig of water, Akim. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and they shall prosper in practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. So what I mentioned before with the first lockdown, even prior to that, they put into place so many unrighteous decrees and policies that are going to put a lot of people's backs against the wall. Matter of fact, Salaki, because the topic is Boston, we know Boston police officers and firefighters, their union came to an agreement after there was plenty of officers that gave up their job. There's those that went and took the juicy juice just for the new mayor, not to make it mandatory, but here was the clause that a cop told me through the union, that it's not mandatory for now, but once the numbers go up and it's and they implement not even a new lockdown, but they implement new policies, and if the numbers get to a certain percentage, they have within, I believe, a week or two to get it or resign from their job. So even those that thought they were straight, and once again, the scripture tells you how people, them being simple, they think that they're going to protest it again, but you already made a deal with this devil, and they was already going to finagle the numbers. Mind you, John Hopkins University, they was playing with the numbers the first time. And now that people actually took that thing, those numbers are going to be there because people are dropping. Once again, go watch Suddenly Died. And like all the city workers, this is why you have the new mayor, the new governor, Salakia, that's coming in that says if you work for the public, it's an obligation. It's an obligation. It's not a choice. It's Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, that write grievousness which they have prescribed. So here you have these people, they write these unrighteous laws. Not just that, when you see them on TV, from Creepy Joe to these higher ups, they ain't taking that juicy juice, man. They taking some type of water thing. And, I say thing because the right word isn't coming to mind, so I lock it. But, there's been plenty of instances of where you have the people that work for Pfizer, let's say, they're not required to take that thing. The World Health Organization, the CDC, they're not required to take that thing. Wait a minute, I thought it's an outbreak of biblical proportions. The CEO of Thing, him or his children didn't take it. Bill Gates, he didn't take it, but he wants to tell you that the so-called black and brown community needs it. And this is the thing that Jake don't get, because these are the same politicians that just recently Jake went and voted in. And I'm going to get right down to the point. Isaiah 30 because of my voice. So I lock y'all him. 30:1. It says, woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and take cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down to Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. And that's just what it's going to be. You trusting in Creepy Joe, you voted this dude in. Any type of relief, all that money laundering that's happening, between that war over there ain't going to be no money for no relief. And if they got money for relief, look up what an Operation Siege means. They're going to put your back against the wall. They'll be like, if you want any type of relief, and we understand through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai that digital mark is coming, that RIFD chip, they're going to push it. They're going to push it. Go and watch Aaron Russo and Nick Rockefeller speak, once again, out of the horse's mouth. This isn't conspiracy. And if you think it's conspiracy, you're not only that person that's going to be caught in that shame and confusion, but you're that simple that's going to pass on and be destroyed. So people are going to think to revolt, January 6th all over again, and what happened in Michigan, but it's going to be too late. 2 Ezra 15-14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Salak Yakim. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, because now they're talking. Them articles are coming back out, how the unjuiced, they're bad for society. They're the real killers. The whole time the people are walking around juiced up, saying all that shit, and they just ticking fucking time bombs. And the black and brown communities are being... Jake always get blamed for everything, but that division is here. Like the Lord said, he's not coming to send peace, but he's coming to send a sword. Ooh, excuse me, so I lock it. To set mother against daughter-in-law, father against son. And we saw an example of that, especially when it came to the mandatory juice. And they're going to push that. Things are going to go back to normal. You didn't hear nothing about it all summer. Once again, we're not ignorant to Satan's devices. Prudent goes into a man that looks into the future. And it says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Look around at all the protests that went around all around the world. Babylon is the Lord saving the best for last. It tells you they're not going to regard. Look at what happened on January 6th, and look what happened in Michigan. They didn't regard curfews or anything like that, and they're not going to regard people being played again. But once again, it's too late. Not because of what he did, but because of what Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai did and who he used. And it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Think about Bushwick, all hell breaking loose. Not just that. Think about movies like Songbird, where you got military checkpoints and you got to show identification that you ain't spreading. Matter of fact, they just said anybody coming from China, it has to be mandatory testing. And it says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. That's coming, man. This is this is coming. Think about the little small things that happen. For instance, Hurricane Katrina. When they were looting people's houses because people, there was no relief. There was no aid. Think about what just happened in Buffalo, New York, when the Lord sent the tempest through there. And what did they do? Jake went up in there and looted. Why? Because Jake isn't in a predicament to put things together or have things. They're not in that position to do so, you know? So these things are going to happen. It's not what if, it's not if you believe or not. Like the scripture says, you know, whether they believe or don't believe, you know, the word of the Lord is still going to be in effect. And it goes to show you when it comes to that time, it's going to be a trickle effect. Society going to break down. People going to have to survive, and they're going to be spoiling each other's homes. And this is 1 Thessalonians 5:1. Man, I didn't realize, Salak came through the Spirit, how many precepts I had set up for this. Let me just drink some water real quick. This is 1 Thessalonians 5:1. As a matter of fact, let me go to the Bible app. For some reason, when I copied it over, it didn't take. Verse 2, it says, "But of the times and season, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you." Remember, 2 Ezra 9 says what? "Measure thou the time diligently in itself. We are called watchmen." Why? The Lord left us signs. He didn't leave us today. He says he's going to come like a thief in the night. But, you know, it goes to show you how real and how much our Father loves us. We're a part of that number. You know, our big brother, Yahweh Shai, that a thief waits to catch you off guard. But the Lord said, I don't look at you as servants, but as brothers. He left us little hints and signs. "For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them." And this is what these devils have been screaming, especially Creepy Joe, especially these politicians. You know, there's an end to this. There's a horizon. Why do you think Dr. Fugazi, he bowed out? Why do you think Kill Gates, he speaks, he doesn't speak as often? Because they're trying to keep things leveled with this whole conspiracy thing. But they don't even care no more, because they're about to put, as the script, not they're about to do the Lord's bidding when it comes to Amos 8:11, a famine of the word. So I lock him. And it says, "As travail upon a woman with a child, and they shall not escape me." The things are just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse until the Lord comes back. And it says, "But ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep, as do others, but let us watch and be sober." Like Elder Dharma always tells us, this is some serious business, especially for us Akim that have children. They're about to push the okie doke. But once again, in Adarantazah, I get to that lesson sooner, going into, you know, the Lord always looks out for us. You know, there's plenty of times, especially during this lockdown, just to not to sway from this lesson, where the Lord then came through for us. You know, look at the spirit that he put in us to stay firm when some of our jobs are being jeopardized. Our children were being told that, listen, you have to get this, X, Y, Z. What do you think is going to happen when it's going to get worse? You know? The scripture says that what a prudent man perceiveth the evil and hide from himself. Where we're going to hide? We're going to hide in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. He's that stronghold. You know? And going back into this, but Jake, like I read earlier, they're going to be in shame and confusion. We've been warning Jake, you so-called Negroes, Lions, and Native Americans, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. And it's like, there's a reason why this generation was compared to the generation of Noah. You know, and I mentioned before, this is bigger than Boston. These are policies in place by the World Health Organization at that. These are plans that they got for the whole world, wherever, and Jake is scattered across the world. And this is, I just got a couple of more precepts on him. This is 2 Timothy 3:1. "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boosters, proud, blasphemous, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy." With perilous times, this is how Jake is going to be acting. "Without natural affection, truth speakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. And mind you, this is the things that they learned of the devil. You know, the so-called white man, Esau, Edom. It says having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. From this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of truth. Because with this truth, as the scripture says, wisdom and knowledge would be the stability of thy time. With this truth comes the Lord revealing unto you who your enemy is, revealing unto you what is spoken about in the book of Revelation when it says he shall cause of all, both great and small. That's why when you read further down, it says, here is wisdom. You know, but Jake's going to be destroyed. That goes back to them also being in darkness, and that's a form of mercy. The position that the Lord put us in, and even the people who we were able to speak to, the mercy that the Lord put on them that didn't take that thing based on what we told them and what was in put on us from the Lord. You know, so listen, man, going back into what I was saying earlier, they are going to take children from parents and cast people into camps. You know, I know a lot of my dreams on my old page, they were lost. You know, I had dreams of coming home and there being people here dressed up in hazmat suits, sticking people, throwing them in vans. And I thought I was going to get away, but I got caught and was placed into a prison. Ended up being to I Live It. And I'm not going to go into it, but plenty of dreams of, you know, just Jacob's trouble, soldiers coming, take you. And best believe there's camps in this place. Look around. You know, these devils are subliminal. Why do you think the last Super Bowl people are looking at these damn Bocce boys sellouts? Because in order to get to that level, you know, you have to bend over. And they looking at 50 and M and all of them. They ain't even looking at they dancing on camps. It's not a conspiracy. Go and look at the camps that are around the world. They look exactly like that. They're putting the shit right in your face. But once again, when you're in gross darkness, you don't see these things. You know, but once again, they're going to take children. They got unrighteous decrees, laws, and policies set up that they're going to take people's children and they're going to cast people into camps. And this is 2 Ezra 16 and 70. For there shall be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. And before I get into this, because the faith builder goes back to Elder Amawanga Bar's video, dream that he shared. Like, even though things were happening, what happened? There was angels along the way, helped them out with food when soldiers were going through homes, told him not to go to his house to a certain time. There was a horse set up for him in case things got bad. Listen, man, you know, Ecclesiasticus tells us that. Look at the generations of old. Read those stories on how the Lord got through unto them. Even if you are placed in the camp, and that's part of your story. As the scripture says, be thou faithful unto death, and the Lord will give thee a crown of life. And I know it's easier said than done, not being in that predicament. I speak as a man when I say that. But the Lord didn't give us a spirit of fear. You know, and that's what prayer is for. Pray that the Lord increases your faith. You know? Now, getting back into this, 2 Ezra 16 and 70. Let me drink a little bit more of this, Hakim. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Notice it's saying those that fear the Lord, because the Lord's, listen, man, the Lord got men set up that ain't going to bow the knee to Baal. We ain't going to go into Adorantes to be a part of that number. The Lord's elect and that remnant, they ain't going to bow down. Just like they didn't before. You know, the scripture says, because thou hast kept thy patience in the book of Revelation, I will keep thee from the hour of temptation that shall come upon the whole world. So it's the Lord that's going to look out for you. And it says, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then they shall be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand. Are they not? Are you not paying attention? You know? And a beautiful elder that I watch, Elder Hawad, GMS North Carolina, go watch his videos in the spirit that the Lord has on that elder and the lessons that he goes on to. If you think ain't no trouble happening, you know, when it says the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Lord is your God. And I mentioned before, look at the generations of our old, but some of us are going to be homeless, cast out of our homes. And when you look at it, why do you think the scripture tells you when all hell is breaking loose, you know, or if you see things happening, don't go back home? Matter of fact, going into that dream, when I pulled up in the driveway and saw the trucks and the people in the hazmat grabbing people and sticking them in there and sticking them with shit, I didn't say, damn, let me sneak into my house. I hit the fucking reverse button. Even in my dream, I got children. I have a wife. That didn't even cross my mind in that dream. And in that day, the Lord may do the same thing. You may not be able to get to your children or to your wife or to your loved ones or get to your bag or get to your certain things that you have planned. Look at the book of Eli. You know, we're going to trust in the Lord. And this is Ephesians 6:11. It says, put on the whole armor of the Lord, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, and against spiritual wickedness in high places. So remember, these devils are doing Usalakia, the bidding of the Lord on the left-hand side. They don't have your best interest. Ecclesiasticus 12 tells you that. Never trust thine enemy. So once again, this is serious business. Every time I say that, I always think about my elder Adama clapping his hands together. This is serious business. Always says when the rubber meets the road, then you're going to see what type of man that you are. You know, the Lord is getting ready to judge this place, and these devils are getting their plans. Like I mentioned from the left, it's about to be bad. The Lord's going to let these devils wild out. There's 2/3 of our people that have to perish. We just pray that we're part of that number that's going to receive that mercy. And matter of fact, I got 2 more. Ephesians 5:14. Wherefore he saith, awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Mashiach shall give thee light. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time. Once again, we're watchmen, measuring the time diligently in itself, looking at the signs that the Lord left his apostles. Because the days are evil. Wherefore take unto you once again the whole armor of the Lord, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Ecclesiasticus 12:1. Remember now the Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. As a matter of fact, I don't have it on deck, but I'm going to paraphrase it. Isaiah, I believe it's 55:6. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. You see all these things that are happening, not just that, you know, the famine of the word coming with these celebs, whether they're agents, either way they're being used by the Lord to push this whole anti-sim thing to where they're going to use that. You know, they're getting ready to cut off YouTube. They're trying to push they're trying to push TikTok because there's all type of truths on there. And listen, man, if they do an EMP blackout, it's done anyways. And you're going to be left in your thoughts. You going to be left in your faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Don't wait till it's too late. So I hope this lesson was edifying as well as a faith builder. Salakia for my voice. I'm going to give it a rest before I get into my other lessons. And I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Makakadash. Double honor to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And peace and blessings to my brethren that's pushing this word, and those sincere Akim and Akwaf that's tuning in. Till next time, Yasharallah. Shalom.